250 years ago, 56 people signed a document which changed the world. They weren't gods, they weren't certain either. They were just ordinary people who believed the right people with the right tool can rewrite the future. I came to this country with a dream, with a suitcase, and a question which I couldn't quite name yet. I was traveling cross country from coast to coast, and I was observing the corporate America. A company, when they're winning over, they're not winning over because of their product or the product quality, but a precursor to that. That is information equal to data. I observed data becomes data analytics. Data analytics become predictive analytics. I watched companies to drive large data monetization programs harnessing AI. And I've decided at that time that I should stop observing it and start driving it. I started working with the young generations, mentoring them in that cusp of the revolution. A few years back, I had sepsis. I was about to leave the universe. I was in the New Jersey hospital, and my infectious disease doctor talked to me about his daughter. There's a reason why he did that. A few days back, he said, look, Andy, you would not be able to survive. We are not finding any medicine because it's an open bacterium. You should let your family know that you would leave the universe. I said, okay, let's fight it back. Let's have the best fight done here. He said to me that, look, my daughter has got admitted to NYU's prestigious program, Master in Analytics, but she doesn't want to go. I said, okay. I remember that very vividly. She sat beside my hospital bed, and what I believed in, the best within me, I told to her, look, we need to carry each other. And the best way to carry each other is to have a solid foundation. And to have a solid foundation, one of the best things you could do is to drive with education. She went to the program. Every Thanksgiving, she calls me and thanks me, and I thank her back. Like this, I have many stories around the AI journey. Meet Miss Ramirez, a 7th grade teacher in a Tier 1 school in Phoenix, Arizona. Every weekend, she spends 4 hours to write the lesson adaptation plan. She grades till 12 noon. She finishes the lesson adaptation plan, as I mentioned. And in the weekdays, she spends around 15 hours on documentation, 15 hours not being spent in teaching. Her district got into a program around 7 or 8 schools, Tier 1 schools, with an agentic AI platform. And what it did is, it became a digital peer. Along with her, we call it human in the loop. Augmenting her, observing the students, generating real-time analysis of the reading skills, and also differentiated plans, and last but not the least, finding 3 students most at risk falling behind in the class. And guess what? On the Monday morning, when she is with the grade book, with her principal, the digital peer sends her a detailed analysis in the Teams window. It's a great example where the system wasn't broken because Ms. Ramirez was failing. The system was broken because it was an impossible job for her to do what she was doing before implementing this platform. It did not take away her job or her judgment. It just removed the paperwork which was drowning it. Think about the quantification of this. This program saved around 8 hours a week for a teacher like Ms. Ramirez. Multiply that with 3.8 million teachers in America for the K-12 education, removing them from the admin work. This is not only a productivity gain, this is the single biggest investment that we could do in the education system of America, as we know that every child deserves a classroom. AI did not take her job. AI augmented it. And that too, very specifically, a digital peer through agentic AI. Meet Derek, based out of Chicago, $2 billion company. They're into logistics supply chain. Derek says, look, how can I fix the engine when the plane is flying? He couldn't keep up with the backlog with the supply chain issues for the last 3 years. His organization brought a platform, very similar, an agentic peer, or AI agent, like a digital peer, along with Derek, observing the entire supply chain, 24/7, quickly telling which supplier will fail when, where is the weather forecast challenge, how the route should be optimized, and making Derek ready again for the Monday morning meeting. What it did is it allowed Derek to become a strategist and really not to fight one crisis after the other. In America, there are 33 million small to medium businesses. You do not need to be a Silicon Valley startup to crack this code, because there are Dereks who are smart, they know their industry in and out, but they do not have that budget or time to compete against the best. Meet the Hendersons, a 3-generation farmers in East Kansas. Tom, 61, learned farming from his father. Daughter Kelly, 29, graduated from Kansas State in agriculture business. And she decided to come back home by not taking a high-paid corporate job. She comes back, sits with her father, and says, this year we should do something different. They had a 1,200 acres of land. They have around $8,000 cost leakage every year because they couldn't keep up with the weather change, the climate variability, the cost of the supply chain, the seeds, and everything, the fuel, and the whole 9 yards. Tom said, look, let's go with the pattern that we do every year. We have one thing with us, that's called prayer. Kelly said, let's diversify the portfolio. Then Tom said, how you would diversify? We don't have any information infrastructure. Then she started soul searching. She went to the county and said, hey, we have this farming organization the last 20 years. Do you have anything that we can work with, any precision agriculture technology? And the lady in the office said, yes, we have a USDA-approved company. So why don't we do a prototype or a minimum viable experience with all of you? Let's do it. The very next day, or that week, rather, a drone comes in, takes the whole picture of the field, and finds out a 40-acre land to be completely unused for the last 6-7 years. Kelly worked with a contracting agency to try grain simulation model. So it's for the 7 days, she tries, let's say, cauliflower. For the next 7 days, she tries broccoli, right? And they keep changing this for almost 2-3 months. And what happened next, when we discuss, it seems like very simple, but when you feel it and you live through it, it's like a miracle. Tom and Kelly, first time after many years, sees a margin improvement of 22%. There are 57 million farmers in our country. 57 million. Again, they do not need to be a Silicon Valley startup. They do not need to compete now or fall behind the larger agri-tech business. They have a digital peer working along with Kelly and Tom to take the business which was running in loss into a profitability. Ms. Ramirez did not need the database. She needed the time to teach the children and make a mark in their lives. Derek did not need another dashboard. Henderson's just needed another chance to fight. 250 years ago, the nation did a very radical promise to the ecosystem. If we have the right tool with ordinary people, we become extraordinary. And there are examples that we see. Industrial Revolution, Great Depression, World War II, civil rights, internet, artificial intelligence, now agentic artificial intelligence. But the biggest challenge is, how do we democratize this? How do you make sure that it actually goes to everybody's hands so that this could be executed, not only will the big companies, but all like every one of us? So if you're an educator, you're in the education industry, make sure that we repeat Ms. Ramirez's example, giving back hours for them to teach. If you are in the corporate America, you do not need to go and become another Silicon Valley company, as I mentioned. Just make sure that you take care of your customers quickly so that it does not go through a churn. And if you're in the rural community, you do have the right to use a digital peer. The declaration that we had was that we are all equal, people are equal. What we did not have, that we should have all equal tools. And that's our job. Let's get back to work. Thank you.